Hi folks, it's Evil here from Thundermist Lure Company. Welcome to today's episode of Thundermist Fishing Tips. I have got the boatless angler with us today. We've got Antonio with us today, and there's our first fish of the day right there.
Really?
Yes, sir. First cast, first fish. Oh, do I love it. We're running a stingnose jigging spoon today, folks. And I've got the 1 ounce silver on because of this bright sun. I decided to go with the silver because it picks up that sun and just reflects really nicely. And we're looking for smallmouth bass. And that is a nice smallmouth right there. Oh, and I just lost him. You see that, Antonio?
No, I didn't see him.
That was a nice, super nice fish. But you can see what I'm running there. I'm running that's the 1 ounce stingnose right there. And if you notice, I just have I've got a Thundermist snap on there. It's a size, that's a size 0. I like the size 0 when I'm fishing for bass. But that was a real dandy. It was a real nice fish. And honestly, I was doing the intro there. I wasn't really paying attention on that hit. So a little bit of a bad hook set for me. But we're out here. It's a gorgeous day. We're working. It's about 40 feet of water right now. And we're going to work these stingnose off the bottom and just jig them back towards the boat. And if the winds pick up, we'll just do a vertical, but straight up and down. But for right now, we're going to cast it out there, work these stingnose back, and see if we can hook into some more bass. But that was a great start. That was a nice fish. I'm going to say he was probably about 4 pounds. Wow. But that was a solid fish. You never saw the jump?
No, I didn't.
A solid fish, but that means there's some good fish around. Stay tuned, folks. We're hoping to get into some nice smallies. Okay, there's another one. I got to tell you, folks, you got to love Lake Erie. It's been about 15-20 minutes. And the last time the camera was on, we were drifting this way. Now we're drifting that way. Literally 15-20 minutes. The winds just shifted, turned right around, right from the north, coming now to the south, and the clouds just rolled right in. And that's Lake Erie. And they actually called for it. It's supposed to pick up as the day goes on. But right now, it's just having fun catching bass. And you got the net. It's not as big. That first one was a beauty. This one is just a nice little bass. Okay. That one is just a little guy. So we're gonna throw this one back. We do want to keep a few today, right? You want to keep some for your father-in-law, you said?
Mine a couple.
All right. Well, we'll get some bigger fish than that for table fare. But that's the thing about Lake Erie. The weather out here can turn on a dime, and you got to really be careful. And I know the winds are going to pick up. They're already starting, and you can see the chop is starting to build. So we've got maybe an hour or 2 hours maybe out here before the winds really pick up. But when we're fishing, I want to let you know as well, when I come out here, I don't necessarily look to mark fish as I do structure. So I'm looking at changing depths. And if you can find like a rock and sand transition, even better. But rocky areas hold a lot of bass, that's for sure. But changing depths. So right now I'm working an area from 36 to 42 feet of water. So that area is going to be holding these bass, and that's what I use my fish finder for. More for marking structure than marking fish. Mind you, of course, you do mark fish too. But if you can find the structure, chances are you'll find the fish. Especially if you've got bait fish mixed in. Okay, so now I think this wind is going to settle in, come from the south, and give us an opportunity to do a bit of a different drift. So I reposition the boat and see if we can get into some more nice those Lake Erie smallmouth bass. I just put the anchor down because you know how we mentioned about the bait fish? Antonio says, look at the graph. I saw a bunch of bait fish, and look what's below. Hanging down right onto the bait fish, we got ourselves a nice little smallie. Actually, that's a decent fish. That's a little bit bigger than the other one. Not much, but a little bit. But that's the thing. You got bait fish, you got structure. We got a fantastic drift. That's a small bass. We're just gonna put him back. But that's the winning combination. And these stingnose, well, they look like an injured bait fish. So right off the hop, that's what it resembles, and that's what we seen. And it triggered that bite. So I've just put the anchor down So we're gonna work this area a little bit and see if we can get into some more fish. But typically when there's small fish like that, they typically hang out with other small fish. But you know what? I don't mind catching small fish. We'll see if we get a few more. So right now we're anchored, and Antonio's working the front of the boat, and I'll work the back of the boat here and see if we can jig in some more bass that are hanging around these bait fish. Need the net?
I don't know. It's kind of small.
They're all small. They seem to be small, but the key is, you see, we have the structure, we have the bait, and it's holding fish, and that's the key, right?
I'm using the bunker.
Oh, you got the stingnose bunker on. Oh yeah, oh, a small one, okay. Okay. Nice.
Silver.
Okay, so we're gonna stay anchored here for another couple minutes. Maybe we'll get a few more of those fish. Nice. So the anchoring is paid off.
It feels a bit bigger.
Yeah, you came to the back of the boat in your first drop and you got one. You have the net, or do you have the net?
There you go.
A little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But you see what's happening is those bait fish are here, the structure's here, and the smallies are hovering around. That's why we decided to anchor and give this area, you know, a few minutes before we leave. There you go. Beautiful. Okay, and we're in 43 feet right now. And again, we're just marking some bait fish, a little bit of structure, but those smallies are swimming around, chasing that bait. Oh, I just missed one.
Missed one?
They're swimming around chasing that bait. See if I can get them to bite again. But yeah, that's what they're doing. They're kind of swimming around in this area and chasing the bait. And that's why
I'm on.
Antonio's on. That's why we've decided to anchor. Good.
That was quick.
Nice. That was quick. Same size roughly?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, that's the thing. They all hang around the same size, right?
Yeah.
You see them? Yeah. They're all about the same size, except for that first one I had on. That was a dandy, but we were in a different zone, right?
Chunky.
Yeah, they're solid, aren't they? And they're feeding up, and that's nice. Where'd you get them? Straight down?
Straight down. I dropped it down and nailed it.
Okay. Well, you got the bunker on, you said, right? Oh, there's one. There we go. I redeemed myself now. Oh, no, I spoke too soon. I just lost another one. Okay, I got to get on my game here. But these fish are a little excited because there's bait fish around, and then the stingnose imitates the bait fish. They see that imitation and they just attack. So it looks like we're exciting these fish down here. Let's see if we can hook into another one. Oh, this is exciting though, isn't it?
Yeah, they're nice. Nice to catch.
Yep. We got a double.
Double header.
We got a double. Assuming I can land mine and not miss them this time. We got a double. Talk about this anchor. Oh,
Barrel.
talk about this anchoring technique working. It's really working. And that's a little bit bigger.
Mine too. Chunkier.
Yeah, a little chunkier.
I think I'm gonna keep mine.
Go ahead, keep them. You said you wanted to keep some, so I'm gonna put mine back. I put it back. Back and he goes. Now, the problem with, not the problem, but when you release the bass like that, what happens is when there's a few around, they kind of alert the other ones. They give off some sort of signal. So this bite might slow down and die off, but if it does, we'll just lift up the anchor and keep anchoring again. But all I did there, and all we're doing is just working the back of the boat or straight down, just casting it out a bit and bouncing it back a bit. And I also mentioned that before when we first started, we had that nice sun out, and bass love the sun. They're not like walleye. Walleye like the cloud, but the bass, they actually prefer the sun. But one thing the bass and the walleye have in common, they both love the chop. We got a great chop going today. And it's really activating these fish, and they're on the bite big time. There we go. They're on the bite big time. Oh, man. Talk about fun. I'm telling you.
Bigger?
About the same size.
Yeah.
They're all about the same size. I got them just under the mouth there. They said, come on out of there. Now, if you don't want to use treble hooks, you could easily substitute a single Siwash hook for a treble hook. Very, very easily. Okay, Mr. Smalley. We'll see you later. But yeah, one thing that both the walleye and the bass love, they love the chop. When you got this nice little chop and you got some structure and some bait fish, can't ask for much more. Did you land that fish?
Yeah.
You landed him, okay.
Kept him.
Oh, did you? Okay, good. All right, let's see if we get a few more fish here before we have to lift up anchor. Right on the drop. Right on the drop. He just nailed it. He nailed it. Oh man, what an aggressive hit. Oh, it's a better fish. It's a better fish. He's a netter fish. It's a netter. It's a netter. Oh yeah, it's a little bit of a better fish. Oh, he just nailed it. I'm telling you. Oh, that's a good fish. Antonio, anytime with that net. That's a good fish. Check that out. Oh yeah. There we go. That's probably about the size of the first one I missed earlier on the first drift. But what a nice, look at that fish.
I'm on.
Antonio's on too. We're just nailing fish today, folks. And he was just hooked just barely inside the mouth there. And that's why, you got a good one too? That's why you lose a lot, because they're just barely hooked. But look at that chunk. Okay, and did he ever hit? He just nailed it. Did you get a small one? So what was that big one? Okay, I'm gonna drop it straight down. I'd like to know what that big fish was doing mixed in with all those small ones. You know what he was doing? It's because of the bait fish. It's because of the bait fish. All right, I should have cast it back where I got that one, but I wanted to do a couple of drops straight down just to see if there's anything below the boat. Okay, one more jig. All right. Okay, I'm gonna cast it. You cast it or are you straight down?
Went straight down.
All right, I got that last big fish. I got him just behind the boat. Right about there. See if there's another one holding there. Okay, after that big one, this guy just nailed it too. They're really aggressive today, let me tell you. Holy. There's another one. Unbelievable. So far, we're still catching fish, and I would have thought for sure by now the bite would have dried up. Because like I say, when you release them like that, they signal other fish. But I want you to see here what I was talking about earlier. When you miss fish, if you look inside the mouth there, can you see how it's just barely hooked inside the mouth? And what happens is, when those hooks are just barely in there, when they give those head shakes or they'll come up and jump, that's when they shake. You're on? No. That's when they shake the hooks. You know, if they're not hooked really, really good, and plus you have the weight of the spoon on top of that, so that's how you end up losing some fish like I did today. But you know what? Look for the structure. If you find structure and bait fish, hang around that area, because chances are the bass are there too. We're having a phenomenal day. Like I said, we only have probably another hour left because we know the winds are going to pick up today. That's what they called for. But we're going to stick it out probably for another, maybe 30 minutes, and then we'll call it. Because right now the chop is perfect, but we know it's going to get worse. So you get an opportunity, folks, get out there. Jig for bass, have some fun. That's what we're doing today. We're having a good time out here. I want to thank you ever so much for joining us on today's episode of Thundermist Fishing Tips. And as always, folks, until next time, good luck and good fishing. That was great, eh?